Hey everybody, I'm Kurt. This is AC. Let's talk about youth ministry. Boom, boom.
How are you,
Good
sir?
afternoon, good friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hey, today we're going to jump right in. Those of
Yeah.
you that are new to Let's Talk About Youth Ministry, it's a little video blog that we do once every couple of weeks. We
Yes.
throw it on the morethandodgeball.com website. Lots of you are watching on that. Some of you might be watching it on some other place. YouTube,
Yeah.
Vimeo, Fox News, MSNBC. We're on right after Rachel
Fox
Maddow.
News, yeah.
So if you're not watching it on More Than Dodgeball, go over to morethandodgeball.com. There's a
Yeah.
blog there full of youth ministry tips and tricks and awesomeness.
Or
Okay,
you can subscribe.
or you can subscribe.
Talk Youth Ministry YouTube channel.
Talk Youth Ministry. Is it Talk YM? Talk. What is it?
Talk Youth Ministry.
Talk Youth Ministry YouTube channel. There
YouTube
it is.
channel. You can subscribe.
Here's the deal. We've got 8 minutes about now. AC, this is what we're going to talk about.
Let's do
I'm going
it.
to throw the topic out
Okay.
and let you riff for a few minutes.
Okay.
This one was straight from our Let's Talk. What's the Gmail address?
Talk about YM
Talk about YM
at gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Talk about YM at gmail.com.
Yes.
And we got an email asking us about special needs.
Yes.
What do we do for special needs? What has worked? What hasn't? Do we even need to worry about special needs? AC, talk a little bit, and then I'll chime in.
Yeah. We definitely have special needs students in our ministry. And as we kind of like open up the door to that, more students have came and parents have brought their students. A big thing for us had to be was we had to, not ignore it.
Right.
It's here. What do we do about it? How do we engage with them? It's really empowered some of our students to really be more proactive in getting involved in their programs, not just here, because we have some programs for special needs, but also at their school.
Right.
So kind of like seeing it, not, out of sight, out of mind type of deal, but now they see it, they know that students are in that space.
Right.
We don't ignore it, but we approach it with love.
Well, I think, as society has progressed, we as a culture have become much more aware of. Accommodating is a terrible word. That's not the right word. But proactively, our society is inclusive and wants to help minister to, encourage, help normalize the experience of people with all sorts of special needs. That's been really good. As a result, as is usually the case, the church is always behind culture. Almost always we're behind culture.
Totally.
Right? And so now we've got families and parents coming in going, hey, I have a special needs kid. They just assume that the church is on top of it.
Right.
They assume that we're with the times, right? And most of the time, the churches aren't. I think we've done a few things well. We've got a separate special needs program in our church that a whole bunch of special needs teenagers attend. We also have an open door policy, and we let parents decide, hey, if you have a special needs child, you can decide if you want to, quote unquote, mainstream them, include them in our programs. Maybe some of them maybe some of the programs are good for your child. Maybe some wouldn't be. We work with the parents. But in high school and in junior high, we have quite a few special needs kids of different levels of need.
Some are highly functional, some are
and some aren't.
Need assistance.
Yep.
So.
And until they become a real, ongoing, obvious distraction, and it's not good for them, and it's not good for the ministry. Until that point comes, we want them involved.
Totally.
It gives our kids, like you said, it gives them a place to minister. It stretches our own students' compassion. It helps our kids see that the kingdom is broad and vast and wonderful.
And I think a big thing is even just training your leaders. It's a great element for just training your leaders and broadening their compassion for all types of students. I know we have some that can become disruptive, but it's awesome just to see leaders step in and come, maybe hug the student or say, hey, why don't we go out and get a Coke or hang out, listen to it on the over the speaker, or so it's been really great. Not ignoring, not saying, oh, we're just gonna, can you believe that they were here? Or, how do we make something separate for them? But you invite that in and you not accommodate, but you be proactive. You said we're going to make this experience for them the same as
well, and that student. To me, AC, that's the biggest shift. Is I think we used to accommodate, put up with, tolerate people with special needs, and now an awesome shift is where we're starting to go. No, you know what? Man, they're part of our family.
Yeah,
this is part of the church. God brought this kid into our youth ministry the same way He brought the varsity quarterback into our ministry. And the varsity quarterback, his special needs, because he has them, they're just different. He needs things specially different than the kid who has Asperger's or Down syndrome or whatever the case may be. I think the biggest mistake youth groups can make is to just not do anything. To not have a plan of attack, to not have some sort of policy, to not have thought it through with their elders. We work really closely with our children's ministry on that issue, right? So we can be hand in hand. Is there just a classic awesome special needs story that from HSM?
Oh man. Well, we have a few. And it's more or less they are huge. They are a part of our ministry. They're in small groups. They go to camp. But they just have some behavior issues that we have to watch out for. It's great. I mean, I don't have like any bad ones, but it's great. We have one kid who pretty much just walks. He has Asperger's, but he'll just get up and just walk. I mean, you could be in the middle of the message and we'll sit in the front, get up, and just walk.
In junior high, we had a kid with not Asperger's. Why am I not?
Autism.
Autism. Thank you. We had a kid with autism, high functioning, but very, very autistic. And he would sit in the front row, and he would bend his legs up behind his head. Wow. So these are his legs, like back bent, and then he would rock back and forth
in the front row.
In the front row while I taught my lesson. But he loved coming to junior high. He loved it, and it was so great for our kids to go, hey. That's just one of our friends. He's part of Wildside. He's one of us. It would have been easy and maybe even understandable to talk to his parents and say, hey, your son's a distraction. His legs are up behind his head, And we just chose not to go there. You have a girl in HSM that yells. Is it a guy or a girl? That just yells out. Yells out all the time.
Yeah, she'll yell out whatever's on her mind.
It's
if
awesome.
You say something that she loves,
she tells you.
You'll hear, like, I mean, she just goes crazy. But a lot of the students know, so you'll see students come up. Sometimes she does the walking too, and you'll see students come up, grab her by the hand, and so it's just been great seeing our students not try to distance themselves or make. And it's great for new students to come and see that our students who are core students who come are open to it. They're they're not shying away from it. Like, it's weird, it's awkward. They're making it a part of, who we are to be.
It's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy. It's going to be one of those things that's always a challenge for us and an opportunity for us.
Yeah.
Do you have a hashtag? Shake my head. Hashtag SMH. I've got one.
We had a young lady, and it was the lady who yells out. She had a fit this week, and we had one of our student leaders was really just kind of like assisting her, and she wouldn't leave and go home. She ended up taking her shirt off. It got pretty bad. It got pretty bad for her.
For everybody involved.
For everybody.
We had this is several years ago, so this isn't recent. But several years ago, one of our volunteers, small group leader on their own, which is great. We love when they take initiative. But he had this student who would act up and didn't pay good attention, and so this leader went to the parents, and instead of saying, "Hey, can we talk about your child?" he basically self-diagnosed, and he said to the parents, "Hey, it's obvious that your son suffers from maybe a combination of ADHD and autism," and the parents were like,
"No,
wow, we've never ever thought that. We've never." Just totally, like he told them. He's a 21-year-old volunteer who just decided to tell the parents that on his own that their kid has ADHD and autism. Didn't ask if maybe he did. He just assumed and said, "Now, as we know, your son has this."
Well, that brings up a great point, though. If you do have those issues in your in your ministry where you are seeing more students that are coming that are with special needs, I would even reach out to the parents and say, hey, help us care better for you all. Help us, care better.
It took us 10 minutes and 10 seconds to get to that.
Yeah.
Because that's the nugget. The nugget is go to parents and say, once you know for sure the kid.
Yeah, of course.
Don't be the one to break the news.
Don't diagnose.
Don't diagnose. But for you to say to a parent, hey, we love your son, your daughter coming. We love the girl who yells out all the time. We want to minister. Can you give us some tips? How can we make church more enjoyable for her? Mm-hmm. Are there certain things that trigger that behavior, or is it just random? Help us out. Parents oftentimes don't come to you because they sometimes, depending on how severe it is, they want to protect their son or their daughter from being labeled.
Totally.
And other times, those parents are overwhelmed and they just know, hey, I can drop my kid off here at church for a couple hours and they're loved on, and they don't think to be proactive. Yeah. So if we can go to parents and say, how can you help us minister to and love on your kid? Special needs. Good stuff.
Yeah, man.